All right, y'all. MAGA voters furious over how the world views Americans right now. Let's get into this video, but first,
Hype me up.
let's go. All right.
Series on how the world views the US. It has been viewed over 100 million times, and I have hundreds of thousands of comments from people all over the world. So I'm uniquely qualified to comment on how the rest of the world sees people in the US.
Oh.
And to my fellow Americans, I'm going to hold your hand while I say this.
Uh-oh.
We are not well liked. We are
I think everybody
downright
knew that already.
hated by so many people in so many other countries. We are an active threat to the rest of the world. We elected a dangerous human being and put him in charge of things that affect people all around the globe. And just like many of us here in the US, they are suffering as a result, and they don't like it. We are actively hated by one of our biggest historical allies, Canada. So if you're an American and
Great Walmart, great value America, right? No offense to my Canadians.
find yourself traveling outside of the US, you better make it really clear that you are not a Trump or Elon. I created
Yeah, man. Imagine going to Canada and you like, yeah, man, MAGA, goddammit. And then they pap your ass out. Straight up beat the dog shit out you because you want to be a MAGA supporter, bro. Elon Musk loving ass.
Parents and my sister went to Europe for about 3 weeks over the holidays.
One thing about white folks, they gonna take a 3-week to a month trip to Europe, dog. The ones that got that money, they going to Europe, bro. Got to touch down to the hometown.
And they went to Barcelona, Portugal, Rome, Catania, and then in Sicily, where my grandfather's from. He's from this little town called Campobello. And so they went there, and they also went with my sister's fiance's mother and her boyfriend, who are from Colombia. And they, of course, in Colombia, they're like, what the hell is going on over there in the U.S.? But when they were traveling in Europe, you obviously spark conversations with people. And when they were asking my parents, where are you from? They say the U.S. and people are just like, oh, like, what the hell is going on there? What's up with your president?
A hot mess.
And I was like, did anybody say anything positive? I mean, there's got to be some people out there. Like, no one that we interacted with. In fact, I know, like, my whole family, they're in Sicily. They're always, like, messaging my mom on WhatsApp, like, what's going on? Are you okay?
I heard they racist as hell over there in Sicily. Just call you the N-word out the blue. You minding your business. You flying a kite with your kids, man. Nigga. Straight up. You out there minding your business, bro. You out there eating that unseasoned Alfredo. You over there eating mozzarella and all that kind of shit. And they want to call you the N-word in Italy. That's wild.
But then they were in the little town that my family lives in, and this old man had come up, and he was barely could speak any English, but he had asked where they were from, and he was just like, Trump, like the way he said it. And my parents were like, no, we don't like him. And the guy was like, you could tell he was relieved, but he was just like, oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's the sentiment there in Europe. Obviously, I know couldn't ask everybody, but that was the main sentiment from a majority of the people that they talked to, which we know. I mean, I already freaking knew, but it was just interesting to hear. I know that there is one country that definitely loves our president, though.
Cuba.
Actually, my friend used to date someone that lived in Israel, and when he came here in 2020, he couldn't go back home until he had the Make America Great Again red hat. And I was just like, what is the obsession? It's fucking weird. But yeah, and then she ended up moving there for him, and they're not even together.
Good for them.
So that's what's going on over there.
This is some crazy shit, y'all. This is some crazy stuff. You know what's interesting to me, though? Clearly, Israel or Israelis look like they are of European descent. And they claim that this land in the Middle East belongs to them because they are God's chosen people. But there is no evidence in the Bible to suggest that God's chosen people look like current day Israelis. Therefore, I conclude that that's not their land. Straight up, the Bible doesn't describe those people looking like Netanyahu. No, Netanyahu looked like he come from the Caucasus Mountains. Let's be for real, bro. But you can't say no shit like that.
This is the first time I've been abroad since the election, and I've lost count of how many times I've gotten that look of awe and sympathy that I get when I tell people I'm from the States. In the past few weeks, I've been to the UK, I've been to Lithuania, I've been to Latvia, I've been to Estonia, I've been to Sweden, I've been to Norway, I've been to Finland, I've been to the Åland Islands, and everywhere I go, I get the look. I have never been ashamed of my country. Never been ashamed of my country.
Okay,
I served it for 16 years. And what I've had to do over here, after the 5th or 6th or 7th conversation, I had to tell them, I'm from Canada.
What?
I can't even
You don't
claim
even sound like no
my
Canadian.
own fucking country. This administration that's coming in has painted a target on our backs. I'll always love my country, but I fucking hate the cowards that are coming in to run it.
Well, a lot of vitriol in that voice. She sounds angry. I'm not used to white people with the southern drawl talking about traveling the world and all of that kind of stuff. The ones that I'm used to hearing about these, I'm traveling abroad and all this kind of stuff sounds like, yeah, me and my parents, we hopped on a plane to Europe. We did this big tour. It was really beautiful. We had so much fun. Oh my God. The cuisine in Italy, mind blowing, unforgettable. But there was an encounter with a guy. He was a bag boy or whatever, and he lost my luggage, and I threw a bitch fit, and I wrote a letter. You know, they sound like that. I'm not used to us going nowhere. Straight up.
This is the cover of a magazine
I saw that cover.
Slovenia.
Hitler.
It's talking about the attack on Venezuela. And you can see the clear reference that they're making here. It's pretty obvious. I want to say to those watching, I did not make this. This is how Europe views what's going on here right now.
Facts. They look at him like Hitler.
And I hate to say it, but they're kind of the experts in figuring that out, no? That's also got to be an old picture of him. Here, this is in the UK, at a bus stop. No matter how many countries you invade, you'll still be this word. And this word translates to being attracted to young women.
Oh, wow. A PDF.
On a bus stop. Right there. There they are. Two little peas in a pod.
Nigga.
And those are the two messages going through Europe right now. All of Europe believes that he's a PDF problem. Why are we still in denial? And if anybody gets...
Guys, unrelated to this video, but I'm multitasking right now. And literally the first thing that I see on Instagram, look, that's the first thing. If I refresh it, it's going to move. White House turns down Elon Musk offer to pay TSA workers during DHS shutdown. You son of a bitch. What? But you're going to send ICE up in there and pay these people, and they got to work next to people who ain't getting paid. Imagine that, bro. I would sneak one of these ICE niggas, dog. You standing next to me talking shit. Whole time I'm here for free. You getting paid. Say something if you want to. Boy, I'm going to just dive in your shit. Look how you go back to the border. No teeth in your mouth. That makes perfect sense. Put people who are getting paid next to people who ain't getting paid. Ooh, man, that pissed me off. And I ain't even no government worker, bro.
It's in here. Starts jibber-jabbering in my comments. Well, I don't care. Shut up. If you want to be a snowflake, because the MAGAs are the true snowflakes of the world,
they really are.
Go somewhere else. We're not going to put up with that here. Until you're ready to leave your cult, then you can give me a call and we can work on getting you out of there. But until then, just scroll past, please.
Look here, bro. No political party is without fault, without blame, and it's perfect, right? But what I do see on a consistent basis, as far as people in real life, as far as people who are in the public light talking about these things, it seems to me that the Democratic people are just more intelligent than the Republican people. And I'm sorry, but it just sounds like that, because whenever you listen to someone who's talking on the right, they're usually delusional as hell, and they're making up things. What's the word? The goalposts moving. They're making up facts. They're taking numbers and manipulating the the meaning of the number. You get what I'm saying? For instance, they always talk about 13% of the population doing this, that, and the third, but they omit what the 29% of the population is responsible for. They want to talk about 13% of the population is responsible for 50% of the deaths and the homicides and shit. But what is you 29% is responsible for? PDF, white collar crimes, arson, what else? Incest, a lot of things, man.
The big point I'm making is that those of us that think this, we are not alone. We're not alone because they're also seeing this around the world. Mm-hmm. We're not alone.
I want to show y'all something real quick. This is what the world looks at. And everyone in the world is going to see this. This is what Iran posted about Trump. The situation in Iran is getting out of hand fast too, dog. I ain't going to lie to y'all. They talking about in order for this war to end, they want reparations and they want the U.S. out of the Middle East altogether. And if that happens, that means the petrodollar is no longer a thing because everybody has to buy oil in dollars and that will wreck our economy. But that's what Iran's demands are. Reparations, like I think $1 trillion in reparations, and get your ass up out of the Middle East.
There's another video that apparently Iran media has posted. It's a Lego animation of fucking Donald Trump. What the fuck is going on?
The geography of Iran cannot be changed. It's still going to be a mountainous near the Strait of Hormuz area. And you can't change that with bombs. You can't, they're always going to have that strategic military positioning no matter what. You can't do away with that with airstrikes. You can't do away with that with naval strikes. You can't do away with it. It is the natural geographic presence that's giving them the strength they need in order to hold out on us, dog. This is not going to end well, and Trump knows it. It's crazy.
We are right to be mad. We are right to be worried.
I'm a girl who's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I recently just lived abroad for a year, and now I'm back, and let me just tell you guys.
She's talking like I expect someone to travel abroad to sound like. Guys, I got my matcha, and I'm on my way to my flight. You know, that type shit.
Guys, people are mean. I just learned how much people in different countries hate Americans and just have this fixed idea about us. They think that we're stupid. They think we're fat. They think that we drive big cars. They think we don't care about the environment. They just think that we don't know about any other place in the world. They think that we love having guns, we're okay with school shootings. It's actually insane because there are 350 million people living in the USA. There's a lot of us, okay? Most of us don't think that way. Most of us don't think the way that they think that we do. So I like to comment on the Dutch culture a lot because I lived there for a year. Of course, I will never know it like a true Dutch person, but I feel like I've at least been there and lived with Dutch people that I have at least some observations I've made that are accurate. But a lot of people have never even been to America and they see the craziest things. So I just want to say, if you're going to make a bold claim, like at least know someone from America, go to the country. The news also is really skewed. I just think that people are so bold.
Oh, you don't want to be judged for actions of others that you didn't commit yourself. You don't want to be judged. It almost sounds like how most black people think in this country. We get judged for the few bad apples that we have, and we're just supposed to deal with that. But we beg and plead, hey, don't box us all in. Us black folks are not a monolith. We all ain't out there on the block slinging rocks, shooting Glocks, running from cops. We not doing that. But let them tell it, all us doing that shit. And now you're getting that same treatment when you go abroad. Yeah, I'm one of the good Americans looking ass. Girl, go ahead. This is some funny shit.
Europeans are really not happy with the United States, but I do think that it's very, very important for us Americans to hear what people have to say about the United States.
So what's the perception over in Europe, like in England and the Netherlands, about travel to the U.S. right now? Do you feel like your friends and family feel comfortable traveling there?
No, nobody I know back in England or here would go to the US at the moment, not with all the news we're getting of people being, refused entry and sent.
Guys, somebody told me that the UK accent is nothing but a Mississippi accent sped up. So I'm going to slow it down to see if she sounds like she's from Mississippi.
To where they came from.
Wow.
Nah.
I can't hear it, y'all. Maybe because it's distorted audio. I don't know.
Right.
Wow. Oh my God. That was so quick. That was instantaneous. Immediately, her reaction to this question. She didn't even have to think about it. She's like, no way. that right there tells me so much. That a lot of Europeans, like, completely have your mind made up about the United States. You don't even have to think about it. Like, you would not even consider traveling here.
Second nature.
And she honestly named a couple of very legitimate reasons. Like, I get it.
This message will be very tough for Americans, MAGA Republicans. This is going to be really hard for you to hear because what you've been told is a lie. The United States of America is the most disrespected country in the entire world, and his name is Donald Trump.
Y'all mans, that's y'all partner right there, boy. That's your people, boy.
Europeans hate Americans according to Europeans. Before we get into it, this is just for fun. This topic came up in a European co-living that I was in, and I took notes, and they're too good not to share. I have more of these culture chats in the playlist, and feel free to follow if you're interested. Let's get into it. Number one, label their jokes. They always have to say I'm joking. British people would not do this. This is very true. I think we as Americans are extremely afraid of offending people.
Not me. I'm not afraid of offending nobody. I be welcoming that shit, dog. Like, what? Feel offended. I beg you.
I definitely do this. Guilty. Number two, they think America is the center of the world, and they were all weird know-it-alls about pretty much every subject. They said a lot of Americans always seem to center the conversation around the United States and bring every topic back to the United States. That a lot of Americans seem to fail to recognize that there's crazy cultural differences and that not everything applies to the Western point of view. Number three, they are overly obsessed with identity and labeling things. Conversations, they'll always say things like, I have ADHD, I'm neurodivergent, and an American is much more likely to talk about identity politics and bring up their identity and how they identify themselves in a way that a lot of Europeans really wouldn't. Number four, too fanatical about everything. From football to firearms, we have an opinion about everything and we are going to share it. And lastly, I am so guilty of this. Everything is way too hype. I had a friend sit me down and he said, listen.
She ain't lying. Everything is way too hype. Real talk, man. I just stopped there to just remind y'all, if you haven't already, hype me up.
You have had the best meal of your life 3 times in the past 2 weeks. Sometimes things can just be good. Sometimes they can be fine, but not everything is amazing. I feel like Americans are the golden retrievers of the world. I find that they tend to be really like peppy and passionate and really hyping everything up. So I totally agree with number 5. Let me know what you guys think. Sound off in the comments. And if you have anything more to add.
I agree with that to an extent because I literally just told somebody, damn, son, I ain't gonna lie, boy, I just had the best burger I ever had in my life. And to be honest with you, it probably wasn't. It just was the best recent burger I had in my whole life. You know what I'm saying? But we definitely hype shit up. Identity politics is crazy out here, bro. You know, I'm somewhat of an introvert. You know, I can be extroverted at times, but in a therapy session with my therapist, she told me that I need to focus on the positives in my life. Because of this, I have a tendency to overthink things because I'm neurodivergent. You know how they be talking, bro. Come on, nah. I'm trying to practice my white girl accent, y'all. I got my country accent down pat. It's the white girl accent I'm still trying to work out the kinks in, iron out the wrinkles.
Just when you think that U.S. favorability abroad couldn't possibly get any worse, well, it does. Brand new polling that just came out across Germany, France, Britain, Italy, Spain, and Poland show that U.S. favorability in Western Europe has hit an all-time low. And the results are a little bit shocking. 34 to 61% of those polled now see the United States as a major to moderate threat to Europe. But don't worry, we're in good company, right alongside Russia, Iran, and North Korea. In every country across the board, we see sharp declines in favorability and sharp spikes in unfavorable views. This one is fascinating. Europeans were asked whether they thought that U.S. foreign policy was permanently altered or if it would go back to normal after Trump. In most countries, around half say it'll go back to how it was before. But in Germany, 47% say the change is permanent. And this, Europeans were asked what they thought America was very likely to do under Trump. Around 20% in multiple countries think that the US will engage in a trade war with Europe. 15 to 18% think that America will become a dictatorship. Totally normal polling questions to be asking of your supposed allies. And if you're new here, I am Caitlin. I'm a U.S. immigrant living in Mexico, and I share global headlines for Americans so they can see what the rest of the world is saying, as well as expose MAGA hypocrisy, usually in a more lighthearted way because the news is depressing enough on its own.
Wait, what she said her name was? Shout out to her, man. Caitlin? Is that what did she say her name was Caitlin?
If you're new here, I am Caitlin.
She said her name was Caitlin. What's up with you, babe? How you doing? How you mom and them? Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. I'm gonna get at y'all on the next one, and don't forget to
hype me up. Hype me up.